Hello, and welcome to my Rec Room tutorial on how to make falling and layering snow. First, let's get our maker pen. So first, open up your watch, go to your backpack, and use maker pen. It's easy as that, folks. So, first thing we're going to do is open up our palette. So look at your maker pen, open palette, and go to Gadgets, go to Gizmos, and select the animation gizmo. Boop. I do recommend having your snap on grid because it just looks nicer when you place the animation chip anywhere. And just be warned, when you actually do add objects to the animation chip, if you move the animation chip, it's going to move the objects onto them that are attached to it. So it's recommended to place your animation chip where you're going to want it. So make sure you place your animation chip where you're going to want to have it when you're finished. I'm just going to leave it right here because I don't plan on saving. But one of the things with our room, Cozy Cabin Bedroom, is this is not an emitter trick. There's no emitters. You know, that's the only emitter in our room. And yeah, these are just your simple shapes, spear, color white, neon, no snap, dots. That's all they are. They're just dots. So you don't need to have your animation chip right next to your dots. It's just for the purposes of this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to do it here. And I'm not going to do a 3D layering like I do on there. I just want to give you the basics of this because the same way that you do the 3D layering like I do over here is the same way I'm going to show you right here. It's easier for me to show it when we are doing it right here. So I'm going to move my chip down here because we're going to need some space. And we're going to go here. Great. And I'm just going to make a couple little dots here to simulate snow. So look at them. That's perfect. So what we're going to do to achieve the same effect that I did over here is we're going to turn on Snap Grid. You're going to click on your snow and just go up 1, 2. And there we go. And what I do to save on space is I select them. And I make sure every single piece is connected. And I merge. And now it's time for the fun part. We got to wire up to our animation chip. So we have them all wired up. And you're going to edit your animation chip. So this is where most of your time is going to be spent. So you're going to want to press add to add a frame. And now this is the hardest part. So the way this snow is made, it loops, you know, because we just cloned it. So we're looking at this one part. So let's just, let me, spell it out for you guys. We are going to want to focus on that dot. This dot right here. So when we go back to our animation chip, we are going to grab it and move it down to where the second cloned object is. So this is where the second one starts. This is where the first one is. You're going to follow up and make sure this dot goes perfectly where this dot would be on the animation chip. So what we do is we move it down. And that seems roughly where it is, but we're going to want to fine tune it. So we're going to go back. Boop. And you can see how it shifts a little bit. That's normal. That's okay. So what we're going to want to do is, let's see if I can do this perfectly. I'm going to adjust it. I adjusted it the wrong way. That happens. And you just keep doing it till it's perfect. So I will keep doing this until I get it right. And there we go. That's how you do the falling snow effect. You just match up that cloned piece with the first layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this, let's just say 10, the frame. What you're going to want to do is boop, boop, and you're going to watch. You're going to see how well you matched it up. Boop. You can't tell when it moved, and you can't see, when it did that. When it actually changed. It's a seamless loop. You're going to have issues doing it your first time. Trust me, this snow that I did here was about, I think that's the 4th one I've layered, where I've actually had to delete the snow and then realign it and everything. I went through like 5 different versions of the snow. It's a bit difficult, but over time, you just get better at it. That's why I was able to do this on my 7th try on this small little loop. And it's pretty seamless. You can't tell when it actually does change. If you change the speed, it gets a little bit laggier, so I don't really recommend changing the speed too much. Just try to keep it as nice falling snow. But yeah, again, you could spread out the snow. You can change. You don't have to follow this exact pattern. Follow what I follow with that and just try to fill up as much space as you can. I wouldn't recommend going overboard with like I did, because I put a lot of dots everywhere. But this is the basis for how to do a basic snow loop. And now, the next thing we're going to work on is how to do the rising snow. So, I'm going to create a quick little scene for us, and we'll get right back onto it. Okay, so this is my little Christmas scene for you guys, where I show you how to do the rising snow now. So what you're going to want to do is, the best way I look at fallen snow is sand with the white texture, because it gives a little glow, the little shiny snow texture that you usually see with snow in real life, and it's probably the best fit for it. So the way you're going to want to do this the snow loop, or the dynamic layering loop, is here. So just start figuring out how far you're going to want it to go, making your little snowballs and over here. Make it look like you're piling up the snow. The snow's piling up. So okay. So actually, let's just move that up a little bit. So it looks like, oh hey, it grew a lot. There's lots of snow here. So what we're going to do is to make another animation chip. Let's just put this one on this side. And we're going to just, grab the snow, wire it up, and then edit. And here's where the fun part is. What we're going to do is we're going to add a frame, and then we're going to go back. We're going to go back to the starting frame. So now that we're back on the starting frame, we're just going to push this snow under the ground. And you could really you can determine how much you want it to start underneath the ground, how long it wants to take. But I say roughly around right around there. That would probably be good. And then you could set however long you want it to look like the snow's layering for. So for the demonstrations of this, I'm only going to make it 30. But the loop that I have in my main room, where the snow comes up, it takes about 700 frames at 50% speed. So one of the things I didn't show is you can change the speed percentage. You can speed and slow things up. Let's just say we want to do 50% speed. If you make it 15 frames, in theory, it should only take 30 seconds. Because a frame is around a second. What we're going to do is we're going to start this and start this loop. So over time, I don't recommend a quick one like this. It doesn't really look as good, because you want people to look back at it later and see the snow rise later on. But over time, it's supposed to show, hey, after the snow layers after a while. And one thing you could do is have it stop at end. And what stop at end means, it's supposed to stop the animation at the end of its loop. So once it reaches the max, it's supposed to stop. Issue is, as we just witnessed, oh hey, it's stop at end. Hopefully this does get fixed in the future, but sometimes the animation chips do not listen to its settings. And here, the way I got it to have the snow stay here is if I have the snow go to a crazy number at the very end. So what I do is I go to the last frame, I add, and then I add the next frame to be 9. So in theory, it will always stay up. For as long, I'm pretty sure a Rec Room update would come out before the snow is actually, looped back at its beginning spot. So it just keeps on going until it reaches that 9 frame. That's one way to get around that problem. It's not the only way you can do it, but that's just the way I do it. These animation chips don't always like to listen to its settings. But hey, this is a fairly new chip. We're going to give them a little bit of slack and, let them work out some of the kinks with them. But yes, this is my tutorial on how to do the snow loop. I also plan on putting this on the invention store soon. So people can also look at this and, see it at a much smaller scale about how to do this. With an invention, you're able to spawn in. I do recommend telling your friends if they want to learn how to do this to watch the video, because the video is going to give you a more in-depth view on how to do it. I'll give some pointers on the invention, but I'm not going to flat out be able to explain everything at once. People are going to have to also experiment it with themselves, and just, ask around. Because again, the more we do this, the more people are going to do it. The more people are going to learn how to do this loop and be able to do it successfully. So yes, if you did actually learn something from this video, I'd really appreciate it if you liked the video, you left a comment, and you subscribe. And overall, I can't wait to see what you guys make. So make Neko proud.